throw everybody off.
It's all right.
So I moved here, but we should vote on.
I'd add the grade school is doing a kindness tunnel, and they're picked, do you remember the date, Mark?
No, I don't.
I'd like you to re-announce the financial literacy because we just went audio.
Oh, okay. The high school on April 15th is doing a financial literacy fair for the high school students. And they're looking for volunteers, people who can help with the kids with housing. For example, like I'm in real estate, I could talk to a kid about how much rent would cost, etc. The problem is that they're finding that the children or young adults age of 25 have an average credit card debt of $10,000 on top of their student loans. So the idea of a literacy fair is to get them thinking about money and saving and budgeting at an earlier age before they are suddenly deeply in debt. And the high school is looking for volunteers of people who have some knowledge or background in areas of life such as banking or saving money or shopping for clothing, for helping kids create a budget and talking to them about each step of the way. Also, the grade school is doing, and that's April 15th is the financial literacy fair, and
Tax day.
I was gonna say, is it a
I'll see if I
coincidence?
can get a notice in the Independent about where to go for volunteering, or I will put it on the Rotary Club's, Wilton Rotary website about where to go to volunteer. And also the grade school is doing a kindness tunnel, I think they called it, and fair, where they'd like parents to come and greet the kids one day. And the idea is they're always telling kids what not to do, with bullying, what not to do with how interactions, and this would be a positive experience, what you should do, how to say hi and smile and wave and be friendly, all of that. So they're calling it a kindness fair, or kindness tunnel. And I don't remember the date of that one, but I'll put that on the Wilton Rotary website also.
Excellent. It is 7:15. I have to open the meeting. This is the Littleton Zoning Board of Appeals. It's November 21st, 2019 at 7:15 p.m. We're at 37 Shattuck Street, room 103, Littleton. And we have a little business to attend to first. Did I sign the bill and send it your way?
You did, thank you.
Bills have been signed, and then we have one set of minutes. Doing a great job keeping up with the minutes, Janet, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Has anybody read them? These are the minutes from September 19th. I have one change on the back page on sheds. It sort of picks up in the middle of nowhere, so I'd like to say there was a discussion regarding whether to exempt small shed sizes from the setback provisions. And then there was a discussion regarding size and locations. And it's all right to say, I don't think you should say they are such a nuisance, but since they can be a nuisance for neighbors, the board would like these to continue coming before the board. Unless they're more than 10 feet from the property line. Bylaw for sheds will stay the same way. Anyone else have any comments to
On the front page, on case 935A, 547 Great Road, for our reference, in looking back at minutes, which I do, can we please put that it's parentheses, the meditation center, or the name of the business?
Okay.
Because, I mean, this fence was purely a structure for their use as their business, not a structure to contain or
It was entirely decorative.
entirely decorative.
But it was also for privacy for their
From the
particular business from the
adjacent
industrial
parking.
zone.
Right.
And that could be added, no
Yes.
problem.
Yeah, can you put something in there like that, please, Janet?
Soaring Hawk.
Yes, Soaring Hawk Meditation
Meditation
Center.
Center.
That would be good, and that it was for decorative purposes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we still have a couple more minutes before we can open. Does anyone else have any business or news?
Are you sure it's after 7:15?
We actually have
No,
it
but
down
it's
at 7:15.
She's scheduled for 7:25.
She's scheduled for 7:25.
Actually, was
No,
the
7:15.
publication for 7:15? On the agenda, it says 7:15. Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong place. I apologize. Thank you, John. I can open. Case number 936A, 30 Taylor Street. The petitioner is Noel Cutler. She seeks a variance pursuant to 17331, intensity of use to allow for a fence with reduced front, side, and rear setbacks. I'll open the case and recuse myself because I have a relationship with the owner of the property that she leases from. Since Jeff will take over as the chair, and you have to appoint an alternate.
So you can come and sit here, and the first thing we'll do is have you explain what your goal is for this application.
Jeff, do you
Okay.
have an alternate?
Oh, yes, we do need an alternate for this. We have 4 permanent members. What's the status? Who's been there?
I was at the last meeting.
Pardon?
I was not at the last meeting,
Okay.
so I don't know.
Was Mr. Fields at the last meeting?
I think I should recuse myself as well.
Okay, so, yeah. So, sorry.
Sure.
If you recuse yourself, you have to leave the table. Sorry.
Why don't you explain what your application is all about?
So I'm a dog trainer, and I'm trying to install a fence. The problem is that it needs to be 8 feet tall. Probably contain the dogs, it needs to be at least 7.5. For jumping for my insurance products, yeah, that's what, so it was 7.5 or above for the,
Sorry, we'll let you present first, and I've got a couple questions.
okay. Well, go ahead.
So would you go over this diagram here? So the building is here,
Yes.
and then, there's not much flat area,
This
you
is
know,
all flat and clear
Right.
here.
right?
Almost,
And is there a dimension there?
is it what?
Is there a dimension here? Does it say, the issue, we have 6 feet here, we have 20 feet, okay, that's reasonable. And you're gonna align it with the front of the front corner of the building?
It's gonna set back just a little.
Okay.
There's a funny piece here, the concrete.
And the reason we need a little specificity is because when we write a decision, we have to refer to an actual.
Sure, okay, so,
Okay.
So you're doing this.
yes. So this is the existing train track fence here.
Okay. The existing train track fence, I actually went and measured it and walked back to it today, is 5.5 feet. I gotta tell you, I have a very large German Shepherd, and there's no way that she can jump.
Have you seen dogs climb? So my niece lost her dog 2 years ago. She came to, my sister-in-law passed, and she came to the hospital, and the dog jumped a 6.5-foot fence at the dog walker's house, and ended up on 93 and died. So it's a personal liability thing. I have to do with these people.
They climb the fence?
This dog didn't even climb, it jumped.
No, but that 6-foot chain,
Yeah.
no trouble.
I had a Maltese who climbed a 5-foot fence. I
I was
watched it.
deep
It
in
was
chain
crazy.
fence. Hit it about, jumped, hit it about 6 feet off the ground, it was going right up.
So could you describe the fence? What it's gonna be?
So-
Is it gonna be a solid fence or a chain link fence or?
So chain link will be
Okay.
here, here, and here along the existing line, and then along the side of the building, we're just gonna do,
A panel.
yeah, just to make it match the,
Okay.
you know, the buildings. what
And
looks nice.
one of the
I'll
things
do a
that,
privacy cloth
okay.
In
through
the
here.
front?
I might do the
This is
whole
Taylor
thing.
Road, right?
This is Taylor Road, yes.
So
this
Beaverbrook
side.
is over here.
It
That-
actually-
that
it's
little
actually-
stream
it's actually
here,
right
right.
here.
Right there, that
Yeah.
stream, okay. And so you want to do this, and this is the part, your parking lot right here.
This is the parking lot here.
Okay, I pulled into here.
Yes.
All right. Why you want 10-foot posts? You have 8-foot fence plus 10-foot posts.
2 feet to go down the ground,
Oh, I see. So it's not, you're not referring to height, but you're referring
in the
to,
ground.
The
yeah.
whole thing will be no taller than 8 feet.
No taller.
Right.
You're not going to put barbed wire or razor wire on top?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
That's only for daycare.
Okay, so,
Yeah, if there's children, maybe, no.
Okay, so so you're going to have a regular 8-foot tall chain link fence?
Yes.
Nothing on top? The
Nothing.
tallest it will be at any point is going to be 8 feet,
Yes,
Including the post.
including the posts?
yes. It's
Okay.
Because the wooden fence posts
no,
are
I
usually,
suppose it
chain
could be
links.
8'2", if there's a 2-inch ball on the top of the 8
Yeah, we would
foot.
probably
The-
give you a
the
few
chain-
more inches,
the
because
chain-
they have a finial on top of the
Yeah.
post for the chain
Not,
link.
not usually on, not, certainly not on the chain link fence that was
Well,
back
it's like a
there.
little,
There's still something.
Yeah, it's like a no,
It's like a little cap.
Yeah, usually the
Yeah.
little cross things come right up to it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
but if
think-
this is a wooden fence here, it may have a post here
No,
that's tall.
doesn't hurt to have
No.
2 inches in the post.
So what we're, and the reason you're here is because it's over 6 feet,
Yeah.
and, so we're sensitive to the height.
We're
So,
very sensitive to the height. The other problem is back here behind you is the railroad tracks, which of course no one worries about. But on the other side of the railroad tracks is Hardwood Road, and there are houses right along here who can clearly see your property. And that's one of the reasons I worried about razor wire and barbed wire and,
Oh, no.
and all of,
Have
because
you
that,
seen it?
that would look
It's a
terribly
very
awful.
classy place, like, I wanna send my dogs there. It's nice, it's not.
and I know you've spoken, because I am friends with one of the abutters, and you've spoken to them, and they're one of the people that will be involved in looking at this, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it. so.
Good.
So we're saying fence no taller than 8 feet and finials up to, and 2 inches above.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I think there's the setback issue also, isn't there, because it's right on the property line as opposed to.
It's a very small, very tight lot with.
Well, I know, I'm
water
saying though that
reverse.
has to be part of the.
That has to be part of the decision, yes.
But it's only on the property line where it's against the railroad tracks.
Right. So I'm not worried about that, and the railroad
So there's
tracks
a-
chain link fence
What
is
do we
back
have to
there.
have for a setback on this?
So if it's over,
If you look at Shelley's comment.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally go right,
Not if it's over.
well, let's
only
read
by a couple
this into
inches.
the record. This is from the Assistant Zoning Officer. The petitioner seeks a variance pursuant to section 17331, intensity of use for a proposed fence 8 feet in height as shown on the sketch submitted with the petition. The property is located in the Industrial B zoning district. The required side and rear setbacks for Industrial B zone is 20 feet for an accessory building or structure, and required front setback is 30 feet. The proposal is for the fence to be 1 foot off the rear lot line along the railroad tracks, 10 feet off the property line, and approximately 50 feet off the side lot line. So this is considered
A structure
a
because it's more
structure
than 6
because it's
feet.
more than 6 feet. So the variance would be to locate it within those dimensions that are referred to in this comment.
But I don't even think she is 20 feet from, no, she's only 6 feet from her.
So it's unclear
7 feet.
from the property, you have no idea how far back from the property line the
It's less
building
than
is.
10 feet
Less than 10
from
feet.
the
This
street.
says 6 feet,
Yeah, it says
too.
10 feet from the road, which, that's from the actual, from the
So,
asphalt.
so the decision
think
would
so.
refer
Probably
to
like
the
6.
fence off this property line. This
Front
is
property.
fine, and then the front, we would,
The side
we
is
could word
fine.
it, we could word it so that it's
It could go
not,
right
no,
flush with
no,
the house.
yeah, no farther forward than the existing structure.
Perfect, yeah.
And what's the setback over here? Where's the
Well-
property line on this side?
It goes all the way.
This is one property.
Oh, The whole property? You own the whole property,
So
okay.
this would be. a
Side
setback.
setback's no issue.
Yeah,
Well-
but this one's okay, so it's just this one and this one we care about.
So, that
You
being
might want to
said,
turn it around so the road's facing you.
Yeah.
So that's Taylor Street down towards you. Okay?
so, it's funny because I went by there today. I had never even noticed that building.
No, I hadn't either.
Um,
But I got out, you have a cute little dog sculpture in your window.
Oh, it's cute, yes.
Yeah, it's very
Do
sweet.
do you own the building or are you renting?
No, I'm renting it.
Oh, okay. The reason not that it matters much, but
Didn't you hear?
I was mentioning this before, I've been watching that building for years, and I was really glad when they rebuilt it. I believe it's an old ice house.
Okay,
Because of
they
the
said it
thickness of
started,
the-
it was a mill,
Oh, okay.
and then it was owned by Napoli for, Idlewild.
Oh, okay.
That's who he said he bought it from, so, and I don't know. Everybody has a story to tell. Every time they come in, they have stories to tell me. I love
The walls seem
it.
really thick, so I'm wondering if.
But I'm glad they rebuilt it.
In the
I'm
interest
glad it's
of moving
going
along.
in good
Yes,
use.
so are there any abutters who would like to speak to this? You want to speak in support of it, or?
Just here to listen.
Okay,
Okay, so I
That
make a
being-
motion to close the hearing?
second?
Did you see Shelley?
Is it?
Second.
Okay, Rod seconds it. So we've closed the hearing, and let's discuss, would anyone, I think this is very straightforward.
Yeah, the line, the chain link fence that the railroad people have up, give it quite a bit of buffer, even though the property may belong to the railroad company. I don't see any problem with putting it 1 foot off the
No.
property line, and it's a chain link fence, so that's easy to maintain. You're not getting out there and trying to paint the backside of it. If you want to maintain a chain link fence, you just take it down and then put up another one or something like that.
Actually,
Well, we're closed.
Oh.
So, that's okay. I think we have all the information,
Well,
unless there is something.
there may be a possible change with the posts.
Yeah.
If there's something, the fence guy's looking into it, it could end up being a 12-foot post, which would mean it would go 4 feet in the
We're
ground.
not concerned with how far it goes into the ground.
Okay, okay.
And it
So-
probably should be a 12-foot post.
Right, it was either going to be concreted or 12, it
Yeah,
has to go
because
4 feet, so it'll
the taller the
probably.
fence, you know.
Right.
We only address what is above the
But that's not our,
Okay.
that's up to your fence guy. So would anyone like to make a motion?
Excuse me, before we make a motion or anything, we never voted to close the meeting.
We did.
We did.
It was proposed and seconded.
Yeah, that's
But not
correct.
voted.
Oh,
Just to be
all in
technically
favor?
correct. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So at this point, would someone like to propose a motion?
I'll try. I propose to approve, yeah, thank you.
Use this one.
To approve the variance pursuant to section 173-31 at 30 Taylor Street for intent to use proposed fence of 8 feet high as shown on the sketch submitted at the petition. Required setback for industrial B. What do we
Not
decide?
to be
Not to exceed,
not to be less than 1 foot off the property line,
not to be less than 1 foot off the
At the
back
rear-
property
rear
line.
property
off the
line.
rear property line, not to be closer than,
The front,
The front,
existing front setback.
the
Existing
existing
building.
structures, yeah, the existing structures.
Existing structured setback.
and I think we want to give them 8 feet with the posts being up to 2 inches.
Okay, so.
Let's
the-
give them 4 inches.
Yeah, I would say 8'4",
Yeah.
no higher than 8'4".
At any one place, so,
The top tallest.
yes,
Yeah.
top, so no, because the ground varies, so you got to make sure no more than that at any one place.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second. Oh,
Go ahead.
whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So you have, your variance will write a decision, it gets filed, there is an appeal period. You can go forward with this at your own risk. If someone appeals, then, you know, it's, you'd have to,
Great,
so.
okay, thanks,
great.
everyone.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your dog business. I mean, what kind of dogs are you training, or?
And when are you a butter?
Bad ones. We're just wanting you to be.
I mean, I would love some cute puppies now and then, but I do get a lot of bad ones. I do a lot of behavior, mod, aggression
Okay,
type
But
stuff.
make them less friendly.
Hence the 8-foot fence.
so
Hence
it's,
the
Hence the fence and my
Okay.
need for,
okay,
yeah.
okay. We all have dogs, we're just wondering.
Great.
you know.
Oh, stop by. I can't wait.
Yeah, I have a 6-month-old German Shepherd.
Oh, good. January group classes, okay. I expected like maybe October. Yeah, no.
So you're just doing training, not boarding or
This-
grooming
this-
or anything?
This one over here is creating the dog population of Littleton, so.
Great, I love it. Good, well, you know where I am. I do, the only boarding I do is, so I do board and train. So if, I take a dog and I have it for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Oh, because
So I
that's a training
only
issue.
board dogs that
For
I've
6
trained. I
weeks.
don't like do daycare or boarding or anything like that. It's just mostly the misfits and rejects and that kind of stuff. Naughty German Shepherd puppies. We love
Why am
them.
I picturing the little boy in Toy Story?
That's kind of it, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll be around. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Good luck.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, back to you, Sherry.
You did a very good job.
Oh, with all the help of the board, yeah.
Wonderful job.
They always help me too, whenever you have to recuse yourself also.
Just for clarity, I wanted to just remind the board that last month, when we talked about fences and the filials and 6-foot limit on what we were gonna do, we did all say 4 inches for the filials. I don't
The
care
chain
what
link
you do.
fence don't
I
have
don't
the
care,
same.
we
They
should
do
be
too.
consistent.
They do.
It's,
We should just be
it's not 4
consistent.
inches,
It
but they do
doesn't
have a
matter.
cap. Yeah.
But if you're saying 2 inches for this type and 4 inches for this, and she changes her mind about chain link versus, that's number one. And the second is, we're not determining height of fences here. That's not in the bylaw, that it's our job to determine how high a fence can be. What we're determining is that once it exceeds 6 feet, it needs a variance. So your vote to say setback is conditioned on the fence not being greater than 8 or 8.2 or 8.4 was fine. But you weren't voting a height variance for a fence. That's not, it's not a dimensional
A
variance.
location of the fence.
Just the location of the fence. So, but I think if you said 4, we as a group said 4 inches.
So you're saying someone could put a 12-foot fence up as long as they did it within,
The 20
The
feet,
setback.
the setback.
Yes.
so we only have jurisdiction over the height when we're granting
We
a,
don't have jurisdiction over height. We have
But we can-
jurisdiction
we
over the
can-
placement, if it's more than 6 feet.
and we can choose if it's more than, but we can choose not to give that placement if we believe it's too tall for the location.
Yes, or
Okay.
you can choose to give the placement a variance conditioned on something. In this
Such as the
instance,
height.
conditioned on an 8'2" or an 8'4".
Could you go over for us the requirements and protocols on recusing yourself? Because there's confusion on it. I know sometimes we have to leave the room, sometimes we don't leave the room. So I know we always have to leave the table. I'm sorry, John.
It's my understanding that if you have a financial interest in the outcome of a matter, you have a financial interest in the outcome, then you need to recuse yourself and leave the room. You can't be in the room making faces or influencing in any way. If you have what you think might be an appearance of conflict, you have an obligation to either recuse yourself or to ask the select body in writing whether you can sit. Because you don't want someone later on saying they were conflicted and they didn't let the world know. So if you think there's an appearance of conflict, you don't necessarily have to leave the room because there may not be a conflict. But in this case, both John and I have some dealings with the owner of this parcel. No financial interest in the outcome of this matter.
So you could stay in the
I didn't
room.
feel we needed to leave the room. It just was an appearance, and I didn't feel like asking the selectmen to allow me to sit because there were all of you to do this.
And it wasn't
So,
that.
so that's why I didn't leave the room. The third thing is if you're in a butter, you have a conflict. You have to recuse, but you can be in the room and you can speak as long as you preface your speaking with, I'm speaking as an abutter. So does that help?
I have a question. So when the applications are done, they're typically done by the application, but how do you always tell who the owner of the property is?
Yeah, it should say both on the application, there's a petitioner and there's an owner.
Okay.
And so I happen to
Yeah.
know the address.
It's right here on the first
Oh, it
page,
is blank.
Okay.
Blank?
because
Well,
it says
It's right
if
there, but
it's
it's
different.
blank on this particular one.
Because it says if it's different.
Oh, so it's
So
the
if
same.
it's blank, then it's the same person.
But it's
She
not.
is not the owner.
Okay.
And in fact, that's an interesting question because these applications aren't being filled out correctly in every instance. And Bill Farnsworth used to be a little more detail-oriented than I about that, and we should grab hold of that a little bit.
Okay.
Because if she's not the owner, she has no right to bring the petition.
Right, I thought she
Without
was
the
owner.
owner's.
Yeah, and she needs the,
Yeah.
and we actually are supposed to get something in writing that says that.
Yeah,
Jen and I, we're going to start working on a packet that's a little more user-friendly or explanatory. So far, it hasn't come up as a big issue, but this one did actually because Like I said, I know the owner, and I was surprised to see his address with the wrong name, not his name.
Well, and in
And it made
addition,
its way through the tax collector, signed off. So I don't,
What are the abutters looking at? Just tell me if the abutters include her. 'Cause that was just another interesting thing that I found, and that was this. I did a application for someone, not a ZBA, but a planning board application recently, and the property was way down Newtown near the town line in Acton near Route 2, Newtown Road near Route 2, and they
Nice,
listed me as an
Masonbrook.
abutter.
And you're not.
Nice.
And I'm not in a
Masonbrook.
butter, but I was worried that the planning board would wonder where the green card was addressed to me, because I'm listed on the abutters list. So I called the town hall and said, I don't really think I should be on the abutter list because they'd be looking for the green card. They said, oh, we always do it. Whoever's the applicant gets on to the abutters list, which I found a little confusing, that's all.
well, that's
Maybe just
sort of
for
for
notice.
convenience, though. I
so
mean,
that you
yeah.
know
Good
that.
mailing of the
I mean, it's
decision.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
nice
So
So they
consideration.
mail you a card so you see it came, maybe perhaps.
Thanks for the decision and for notices and for continuations and everything, it makes sense. But I was saying, I don't want to mail myself certified with 95 cents now.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
I don't think you voted on the minutes, though, did you?
Didn't we?
Oh, we amended without voting, you're right, let's vote on the minutes. Somebody want to move?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
No, abstain since I was not there.
Or opposed? Okay, they're approved, now you can make your motion.
I make a motion that we close the hearing.
Second?
Meeting or here?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Flip the switch.
I don't see the owner of the property on this list.